I know you helped with the heart, and man, Andrew, can I say, this looks great. You sure know how to barbecue.
Not only are they smoking this in camel dung to keep the flies off it, but this is cooked over camel dung.
I love that.
Welcome to Asia's emptiest country. At one point in history, their empire controlled over half the world. Their ability to adapt, move quickly, and be resourceful made them a force to contend with. Now, hundreds of years later, you can still witness the roots of their strength and power. Traditions around lifestyle and food still continue today here in the country of Mongolia.
Oh my God, dude, it looks amazing.
What is this dish called?
Jimbi.
When's the last time you made jimbi?
Last week.
Last week.
In this series, my buddy Andrew and I are on a mission to live the nomad life, starting in the northern Darkhan region, then heading south through the capital of Ulaanbaatar, then further down, deep into the Gobi Desert.
In the north, it's more like mountainous, but here it's more like wide open. People are so calm, more chill.
More chill?
Yeah, more chill.
There's like a deeper level of chill that I was unaware of.
In the past, we've traveled by bike, we've traveled by jeep.
Hey!
Whoa! Oh my God!
Don't kill anybody.
This time, we're taking this.
Oh God! Whoa! Sorry.
This Soviet-era four-wheel drive passenger van is perfect for when this country runs out of road.
Don't tip!
Can we not die on this trip, please?
Something that happens more often than you would think.
They call this thing a loaf of bread, and it's pretty easy to see why.
It handles like a loaf of bread. Oh my God!
From north to south, each region has its own geography,
I've never seen so much green grazing grass in my life.
its own unique identity.
These guys are out here grazing when there's almost nothing to graze on.
But one singular thread ties all of Mongolia together:
Can I?
the nomad lifestyle.
Oh, I took a big piece.
45% of this country's population resides in the bustling capital of Ulaanbaatar. But drive a short distance outside the city and you'll begin to see yurts that dot this endless sprawling landscape.
I mean, is it even possible to get mail delivered out here?
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
The life of a nomad is dictated by weather and their herd. Many families move up to 4 times a year in pursuit of milder weather or more lush grazing lands.
Right now, we're actually the winter place.
Why didn't they move yet? It's summer.
We asked them to wait us for a little bit longer.
Are we interrupting their nomadic cycles?
The life of a nomad is tough, and that's why Andrew and I are here to help.
There's no way. What is he doing?
I think maybe I could help in the kitchen with a snack, something fun like that.
How about goat?
Goat shit.
We're here in summer, and summer in Mongolia
I'm getting whipped by this tail.
is milking season.
I didn't know camels could hold their milk in, like holding in a fart.
Milk here is used for everything, from tea and cheese, all the way to making alcohol.
It's not super strong. It is going to take a while to get intoxicated, but only if you're not committed.
When they're not drinking milk, folks here love their meat. The big 5: goat, sheep, cows, horses, and camels. And the recipes we've discovered are nothing like you've ever seen before.
The steam is out, the bottom hole,
The
man.
bottom hole is steaming.
Buttock, a goat literally cooked inside its own body.
Oh, it smells good.
Horse noodle soup made with fresh noodles, but also with fresh horse.
I mean, I've had chicken noodle, big fan, beef noodle, very good.
Then there's Mongolian camel, consumed fully from its heart
This thing is massive.
to its humps. And don't forget the fat-tailed sheep, whose body is transformed into an ornate edible coin purse.
It's been sewn shut with a thread made from camel hair. What century am I in? This is amazing.
Some of the food is undeniably delicious.
Okay, stop.
It's really good.
And some may fill your heart with dread and your mouth with regret.
How you doing?
How are you just sucking that down like that?
In this series, we're going farther, deeper, and more local than ever before.
Meat.
These aren't tourist attractions, and this ain't a theme park. These are the real lives of Mongolia's nomads. Today, we're on a mission to experience the life and diet of real nomads, including this.
The bottom hole is steaming.
An ancient Mongolian dish like you've never seen before.
I wish I could replace my pillow at the hotel with this.
It all starts here. It's a typical morning for Boggy the goat, waiting to be released and to graze the fields. But on some days, the unthinkable happens. Without warning, one of his goat acquaintances is plucked from the herd and carried away, never to be seen again. For most foods in Mongolia, removing the animal's head entirely is taboo, except when making buttock.
This is a preparation like I've never seen before. It seems that you want the whole body as one big vessel.
Right on. All of the bones are taken to inside. All of this stuff and organs also, just to remain the side sack.
So they're using the neck as the exit point for everything inside.
Right on.
Buttock appears in Mongolia's history as early as the birth of this country in the 1200s. Legend has it that Genghis Khan threw buttock banquets when his warriors were victorious.
When making buttock, what is the biggest mistake you could make?
Don't make some cuts in the hide. It should be a biggest mistake. Be careful of cutting yourself as well. All of the process stuff, it depends on your finger sense.
I think surgeons should come out here to practice.
Muscle by muscle, bone by bone. Even among skilled hands, this painstaking process can take up to an hour. The heating element used to cook the buttock is also being prepared. Stones from a nearby river are blasted in a fiery inferno for hours. Once scorching hot, this will be the primary heat source, cooking the animal in a way you've never seen before. Inside the yurt, locally known as a gur, we warm ourselves with a typical Mongolian breakfast.
Gentlemen, is it summer right now in Mongolia? Because I am freezing my ass off.
Meet Nargi and Iba, Mongolian locals from this region, and my new friends.
It's a summer.
What's it like in January?
You will feel your eyeballs freezing.
So what do we start with?
We start with the tea.
Boiling water is joined by green tea leaves and compressed tea stems. Add a hearty portion of salt and douse it with fresh cow milk.
And then where's the boba?
With what?
The tapioca balls?
Yoga bowls?
You say yoga balls?
This silky liquid is a tasty, energy-packed way to keep you warm in Mongolia.
So hot.
Obviously warm and steamy. You can taste the tea a little bit. I'm mostly just tasting dairy. I like it though. It's very hearty and it's warming me up from the inside, which is what I need right now.
So yeah, we have the most common dish of the breakfast. It's called Buttock.
Flour, milk, sugar, yeast, and ghee formed into a dough. Knead it, roll it out, portion, and shape. As soon as it hits hot oil, it begins to take on the familiar form of fried bread.
This is pretty good. I mean, all kinds of fried bread are pretty good. It's sort of like a savory donut. And it's not even that savory, it's a little bit sweet.
It's like a naked donut.
In place of sugary frosting, how about urul, or clotted cream?
So I've heard of blood clot. Is it like that?
So how it is made is you boil the milk and then let it sit.
So definitely it's not butter.
Yeah, it's not butter.
It's very creamy. It's not overly rich like butter. It tastes a little bit more whipped. It's delicious.
It's really smooth. I love it.
So this region we're in now, there's a city of Darkhan, but the whole region is also Darkhan.
Darkhan Ul, which translates as Darkhan Mountain. We have these two mountain ranges colliding here.
Darkhan Ul, our journey's starting destination, lies in the north of Mongolia.
From the capital of Ulaanbaatar, we came here probably 7 hours driving on mostly roads that are unpaved, that are rocky, that are just serpentine all over these hills and mountains. I mean, is it even possible to get mail delivered out here?
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Out here, you're truly off the grid. No 4G, no electric lines, no underground plumbing. When they need power, the sun's got their back.
What are people doing here? How are they earning a living?
So their main business is herding animals. A sheep, goat, cow, horse. Those 4 are the main animals here.
Today, Andrew and I are welcomed by a Mongolian family that still lives as nomads.
So we have the common dish of the nomad culture. Hajmak. Hajmak.
Like you're putting on your helmet.
The making of this tongue-twisting dish starts with urul, heated in a pot. As it melts down, she adds flour, then a handful of raisins, then sugar. Continue stirring until the fat separates.
Oh, you put it on the bread?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this up so I have more surface area on my bread. Sorry to change your ancient tradition.
What do you think?
Oh, I like that.
Such a unique texture, huh?
Yeah.
The cream is crystallized in a way, almost like a light crunch to it as you eat it. The raisins offer a little bit of sweetness, and then it's just so rich.
The butter, man.
This could give you a heart attack. If it was me, I would just be like, well, bread's bad for you. I'll just eat this.
I'm starting to understand why Mongolians are such big people. A lot of dairy, a lot of sweet food.
During summer, we Mongolians don't usually eat a lot of meat. We usually eat a lot of dairy products.
And then in the winter, that's when you get the meat to keep you warm.
Yes.
You two are part of a group known as
Buttock boys.
Buttock.
Buttock boys.
The Buttock Boys are documenting Mongolian food and culture and broadcasting it to the world through their YouTube channel, Artger.
In general, which videos do well for the channel?
The best ones are the camel milk with over 10 million views now. And then the second one is Buttock. It is a national dish, the one and only.
Having charged up with a super calorie breakfast, the Buttock Boys are ready to go to work.
Here we have all the meat that's been cut up. We have some onion, salt, and pepper. We have our sack.
Look at this.
This is the whole sack. That is what contained the entire goat. So this is the most important part here because we're gonna stuff the sack.
Main tool in Mongolian kitchens is the hot rocks.
Step one, he puts it inside. How many rocks do you have in there?
Maybe 20 more. We gotta place the rocks in the right place now and then add the meat. Dude, the steam is out of bottom hole, man.
It's like me when I eat Thai food. So this is salt and pepper mixture going in, right?
Yeah.
A couple of onions, a layer of meat.
Whether you're moving your animals to greener pastures or expanding your empire, carry large cooking vessels will only serve to slow you down.
Oh, it smells good.
Thus, Buttock is a genius recipe born of necessity that's stuck around because people here love how it tastes.
It's almost done, man.
All right, look at the steam pouring out now, coming out of both ends, like when I have Indian food. Sorry.
We gotta reseal with metal wire.
They're putting it around the neck and then twisting it super tight, and that's enough, apparently. Where did the legs go?
We got a good surgery on that.
Oh my gosh, it's like, it's a quadruple amputee.
While the hot stones cook the goat from the inside, the outside also needs some work. In the past, hot steel was pressed on the goat exterior, burning its hair and cooking its skin. But ancient problems require modern solutions. The hair is torched, scraped clean, then washed. They alternate between roaring flames and smears of goat fat to keep the surface moisturized. After 4 more hours, the buttock will be ready for feasting. Until then, Andrew and I try to make ourselves useful.
Me and Andrew are here on a mission to see what it's like to live the nomad lifestyle in Mongolia. To me, nomad is misused sometimes these days because sometimes people talk about nomads, but they used to live as nomads. And to be a nomad really means to move kind of continuously because your animals have to get new food, so you have to move for the animals or else they're not going to survive. These people here, are they actually moving?
Yeah, they're moving consistently.
These days, a full 40% of Mongolians are still nomadic herders, moving 2 to 4 times a year.
Right now, we're actually at the winter place.
Why didn't they move yet? It's summer.
We asked them to wait us for a little bit longer.
Are we interrupting their nomadic cycles?
Yeah, as soon as we leave, they will move.
These days, cars make the quarterly migration a lot faster, and motorbikes make herding the cattle a lot easier.
From here and as we move south, everywhere we go, we're going to do whatever it takes to help out and get the full, true, traditional nomad experience in this country. I know there's a lot to do today. I think maybe I could help in the kitchen with a snack, something fun like that. Is there anything Andrew could do?
How about goat shit?
Goat shit?
Goat shit?
What can he do with the goat shit?
You can clean them.
How about cleaning goat shit?
How's that important?
No, it's a nomad way. You know, you want to explore how we live. And
This is fantastic. All right, listen, next time you can pick who does what task. How about that?
Yeah.
Food, shit.
In this country of 3 million people, there are 70 million heads of cattle. Every single piece of the animal is utilized in some way, sometimes in ways that will get you drunk.
Right here in this pot, they are distilling milk vodka. They've already put in a fermented cow milk. That is boiling here. Then the steam is gonna rise up. It's gonna collect here on this pot full of water. Inside, there's a small pot that's gonna collect the drippings. That is the vodka. But everything that's left, that is gonna create a paste, the byproduct, that can also be eaten too.
In Mongolia's short summer season, cattle eat up to 500 different types of naturally grown herbs. That means a lot of fiber and also A lot of
We are out here in the goat barn, ready to shovel shit, I guess. I've got to admit, this is pretty clean for a goat pen. It smells
Smells sour. That paste we were talking about inside, it is the same thing as this right here. It has a weird kind of Play-Doh-y type texture. Can I?
I
took a big piece. Oh, it really cakes your mouth. It's kind of sour, but it tastes good. That being said, usually they're not going to eat it like this. We're going to be transforming it into something else. We need to give this curd CPR.
In a few simple steps, this paste will turn into what I'd call Mongolian cheese.
Can you show me what to do? I don't speak Mongolian, which might come as a shock to you guys. Oh.
It seems like step one is to kind of just make it even, so it's one flat surface, because I'm pretty sure soon this is going to get smushed. I want to help too. We can do it together, right? She's like, don't get in the way.
Is this the shit? We're gonna get the shit. We rake it, all right? Pretty simple process. Honestly, this seems very similar to how I would shovel shit back home in Australia. I'm feeling like a real nomad right now. Is this good? Are we doing good? Yeah. Yeah? Oh man, it's hard to communicate in Mongolian.
So she pointed to this. This is a good 40 pounds of rocks. We've set that on top. I think she's moving it around to really ensure that it's level and that all the water is going to get pushed out over time. That? Okay, she's pointing to something heavy. Oh, what?
As I've been traveling through Mongolia, there is a distinct lack of any kind of above ground vegetation. This cannot be used for like manure as you would usually use it for in the West. I guess that's why they're burning it.
Livestock dung is a common fuel source here, making your Yule log look like the real piece of shit.
We're towing the shit.
It burns hot and its smoke can chase away bugs.
You gotta be careful here. This is some slippery stuff. This is not where you wanna eat it.
But first, it must be dried out in a designated area.
I thought she was pointing to this. No, there's a rock. Oh. Here we have about a 55-pound cement block. Oh. So that is going to be some curd smushing power right here. Should I get that one too? But to be fair, I got this one. Can you get that one? I got this one. You get that one. Okay, I'll get it.
Is this, are we really on a giant pile of dung?
Here, the dung will be left to dry out.
That was it. I've got to admit, I really don't feel like there was anything to do with food or there was all that uniquely cultural about this. I think Sonny just wanted to put me through pain. Luckily, I get to choose the task next time and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get some payback.
Any more? Okay, this step is complete. All we have to do now is wait for the curd to harden and become a food, a brand new food called aros.
Once the paste has been compressed for 24 hours, the weight is removed and the hardened dairy is sliced with a string. Now it's ready to eat.
It is really hard. So this has just been sitting there for only 24 hours and it gets this hard.
That is so sour.
Yeah. It's kind of like a sour Parmesan. What would you normally eat this with? Like a big charcuterie board, some grapes? And
No, we had the slot green.
you eat this with more dairy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is the aros, but this is the Buttock. Can I touch it?
Sure.
It is still really warm.
You guys are pros here. How do you like the final product? Are you happy with this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
Not really. Maybe you can add some veggies inside. Maybe you can find out a piece of carrot in here, a cap on a bottom hole.
So some people roast a pig and put an apple in their mouth. This man will make a buttock and put a carrot in the other end. Very nice touch.
Traditionally, buttock is served with the tail pointing toward the front door of the gur.
I have to tell you this. I have seen this in YouTube videos before, and to be completely honest, and no disrespect, I just thought that doesn't look like it'd be very good. It's charred, it's a kind of disconcerting shade of brown, it's leathery. So I'm gonna be 100% honest with my feelings, my reactions, my thoughts today. I know you guys know it's good, but I'm gonna find out soon. Sir, please do the honors. The skin does look pretty decent once you cut it open.
Right.
Holy cow.
That looks juicy, man.
Before we dig in it, Buttock, we got past the hot rocks.
Can't believe how well that's held its temperature. This has been a good 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it's still quite warm.
You can put that on some painful area in your body and then relieves the pain. One another masterpieces for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. So that strip right down the center of the belly, he's kind of calling that the masterpiece.
This is like a goat belly cooked from the inside. Oh, that's chewy.
It's chewy, it's gummy, but I don't mind that. It has a lot of flavor, but it's different than a normal goat. It's actually been flavored by the rocks. The rocks pass on a certain amount of minerality. That fresh water, like river smell, whatever that would be, that taste, is in the goat meat.
It's not really all that gamey, and I think that might be the reason why.
Yeah,
You know,
not
you-
gamey at all. So from this point, there's all these different cuts. Do you know what this is?
Probably leg meat, yeah.
I am blown away by how well cooked that is. When I saw those rocks going in, I just thought it doesn't matter how long you leave that, the rocks are going to cool down. This is barely going to be cooked. This is very well cooked.
But you're also torching it from the outside. So what percent is being cooked by the rocks and what percent is being cooked by the torch?
80% is cooked from the inside with the rocks.
So rocks are doing a lot. There's sometimes even a little like granular texture, maybe sand or something that came off the rock. Is that possible?
It is possible.
Can we try the, oh, what the?
You can get this big bone, man.
This is what's so unique about this dish. Here, usually there'd be like a liver, there would be anything but a leg bone. I'm telling you guys, the marketing for this is awful. When you look at it, it just looks like one of those bodies they dug up after Mount Pompeo blew its lid. So people would be like, no. But when you dig in, such a clean flavor, not gamey at all.
Especially considering they haven't like masked the flavor in any way. You know, sure there's salt, there's a little bit of pepper, but there's no herbs and spices. It's pretty just straight up.
Do you know what would go perfect with this? Milk vodka.
Oh yeah.
It is clear, it smells like sour milk. Oh, I like it. It's a good flavor. I cannot believe how good that is. It feels like a hot sake, but it's made from milk.
Pretty incredible. I can't believe that comes from milk.
I can't believe it either.
There's no bite to it. It's remarkably smooth. Maybe there's some kind of creaminess left from the milk or something.
That is dangerous. How's the hangover from this?
Huge. We got some soup as well, if you want to try it.
Soup me up. Look at this, like a pool of broth. The whole bottom of the thing is filled up with broth. That's why it's so important to not pierce the hide anywhere and also to plug the bottom with the carrot. Does that smell awesome? It's smoky, like it has a beautiful charred flavor somehow. Whoa. Oh, I love it, guys. So of course, over hours, the onions have just completely broken down. You can kind of feel the texture of them a little bit, but the flavor of the onion is still in there. Such a deep, savory, delicious flavor.
It's like the richest, almost gravy you've ever tasted. That just lines your entire mouth.
I'm in love. And it's not just because I'm drunk off of milk. I'm shocked, I'm blown away. Today was an incredible introduction into food here. I read a little bit about Mongolia before coming here, and it seemed like food would be very simple, heavy, meaty, and just full of dairy. And so I didn't know what to expect. Here you have a recipe that goes back just generation after generation. You were asking why do people still do it today? Boom. That's why. It's like, why do people still grill steaks today? It's because it's damn good. But it would be too hard for people who aren't growing up with it to make it. Like, you can't really look up a YouTube tutorial, start with one goat. It's like, okay. Already I'm in trouble. So it is one of those things you're just gonna get it here. And that's it. It's incredible. I'm taking rocks home in my suitcase.
Now, we're headed a few hours south to follow the lives of this country's famous horse herders. These guys raise a local breed of horse, meant for racing, for riding, but also for food.
This is horse noodle soup.
Yeah, one hell of a name, right?
Getting us to our destination in style,
Oh God.
this beautiful boxy beast.
All right, can we not die on this trip, please?
Right now, we are in an old Russian Bihonka from the 1960s. I mean, we are right up on the border of Russia, not far, and they're not making a lot of cars in Mongolia.
They call this thing a loaf of bread, and it's pretty easy to see why.
It handles like a loaf of bread. Oh my God. Most of this country is not paved. If you're in the capital, about half the country's population is there. When you go deep, deep into the countryside, you might go for 6 hours on roads just like this, and you'll meet families who are living now as they lived 4 generations ago.
You can really see why the horse is still the national animal, right? It's such a practical means of travel, even to this day.
It's also food.
Right. Right?
Yeah.
All right, I guess, whatever it takes. I'm keen to experience this
Andrew, this is a weird one. We've both tried a horse before in North Vietnam.
Oh, we did, but this feels different. I never saw the animal.
We didn't see the animal, and so it feels a lot different when you just have some cubes of meat, and here we're looking at some beautiful, although very short horses.
Today we're following a family of horse herders. In true nomad fashion, they pack up and move every 6 months in pursuit of milder weather for their cattle. It's customary that they sacrifice one of their herd, storing up food in preparation for the coming frigid winter. In this home, their favorite is horse meat.
For me, I guess I feel, God, I don't know how I feel. I feel like horses fall into the category of dogs.
They've got everything. They're big, charismatic, they're beautiful, they're smart, they're super intelligent.
Right.
Even then, right, if you're gonna eat meat, and it's very much part of this culture, it has been for centuries.
Why would they change? People here are herders, they're nomads, they eat goats, sheep, cattle, and horses. Either way, I think we're just here to see what they do.
Right.
One thing I will not do is select a horse. I'm gonna leave that up to them.
Yeah, that'd feel a bit rough.
Before any of that, breakfast. Starting with this. This is a cow foot, but it'll undergo a 12-hour transformation before it hits our breakfast table. First, torch it to get rid of the hair, then remove the hard, inedible hoof, which is more or less like a giant fingernail. Cut it into pieces, then boil it for hours until the gelatin inside begins to render down. Combine that foot jelly with head meat, carrots, garlic, green onions, and seasonings, and you'll get this: a savory cow head and foot gelatin. A staple loaded with calories to keep you going during a long day of herding.
Now, you've heard of like maybe strawberry jelly, grape jelly. How about cow jelly?
Besides the jelly, our early morning spread includes some summertime staples: fried bread or borzo. There's also arroz, a type of pressed dairy that I helped make yesterday. However, instead of compressing this dairy paste under heavy objects, they're spun into noodle shapes and dried on top of the yurt.
I prefer this format in terms of shape.
This format, like it's an MP3.
It's so rich.
It is so rich. It looks like it's gonna be solid or crunchy or something. You bite it, it's like cream cheese.
And the sourness here. Everything, any candy you've ever had, those sour candies, these things will trump it.
For you, sir, which here is your favorite breakfast item?
Iba, our local Mongolian friend, helps us connect with the man of the family, Mr. Sambu.
So he likes that the most. I like that too. Ooh, very fragile. And you can see there's herbs in here, real pieces of cow foot, some carrot. I was hoping these were potatoes. They're not. Cheers.
Open.
Definitely feel the jello.
Surprisingly balanced. The texture is what throws you off.
Those white bits, it feels like tendon, but really soft tendon. Do you ever heat this up?
Or it cold.
I like it though.
Me too.
Here's exactly what it's like. If you make a roast, that makes a bubbly kind of stock, and then you let it cool down. It's the same as eating bits.
And then you just put it on toast. And
you put it on toast.
Breakfast.
Today, we're gonna be having a food pretty common in Mongolia and not really seen almost anywhere in the country I come from, or probably where Andrew comes from too. But first, before we get to that, I wanna ask more about you. What is your job here?
He herds cow and horse.
The big 5 cattle being bred and raised in Mongolia include horses, camels, sheep, goats, and cows.
Why are some people doing sheep? Why are some people doing goats?
In fact, there are more horses in this country than people. The more you have, most likely, the more wealthy you are, as the horse is an animal of prestige.
But the sheep and goat, you have to follow them around to keep them in place.
Are they not as smart?
And yes,
Compared to other breeds, the native horse of Mongolia is rather small. It's a descendant of the same breed that helped this country take over half the planet during the height of the Mongol Empire.
so horse and cows freely roam around, and when that comes, they come back to the family.
Automatically,
Yeah.
on their own.
Even through today, horses in Mongolia have become a crucial part of their daily lives. People buy horses for transportation, entertainment like horse racing, but also for food.
In the USA, I would say most people would consider eating a horse like eating a dog.
You don't eat horse in America?
I don't think so. Maybe somewhere it's available, but it is certainly not common at all.
Sonny.
That's strange.
That's so strange.
We're both honored to be here regardless, and we're happy to enjoy any food that you may offer us today. Beyond that, we actually want to help even more. I know there's 2 activities in particular, Andrew. Last time I was making this, and you were helping with the manure disposal system.
Shoveling shit, Sonny.
Yeah, you were shoveling shit.
I'm feeling like a real nomad right now. This must be the essence of what it is to be a Mongolian herder. It wasn't all that fun. No. That was just shoveling shit. Well, I'm not doing that anymore. I get to choose this time.
All right, so fine. This time
Yeah.
you get to choose.
Great.
Yeah, it's up to you.
So what are we doing?
We can either milk horse or churn the horse milk.
I mean, if it was up to me, I would definitely milk a horse.
No.
That sounds way
No, no,
easier.
no.
I would milk the
No.
horse. But it's not up to me.
It's my choice. I'm gonna milk the horse.
You're milking the horse?
I want the easy task, all right? It's my
guess.
choice today.
I guess Andrew's milking a horse.
The Mongolian approach to raising horses may seem a little hands-off. They're not bathed or fed special foods. Rather, they graze freely, as nature here is more than capable of nourishing the herd. And magically, those horses turn green grass into white silky milk. Horse milk.
Okay, time to milk a horse. Let's get going. How do we do this? We're tying up the horse's leg. It doesn't look like it's overly down with this situation. I was told prior to starting that to be careful, Mongolian horses are very small, but they are also very dangerous. We're grabbing a second horse. We've got a foal here, which I think is trying to like simulate with the mother that it is the foal sucking on the breasts. The horses have breasts. Udders, maybe udders is the way to go. I failed horse anatomy class, guys, I'm sorry.
While Andrew is doing his dream job of milking a horse, I'm inside with a cool, refreshing, alcoholic drink. This right here is called Arok. Arok is a milk-based drink. Remember yesterday when they made that milk vodka? The drink they first put into the distiller, that's basically Arok. It's a fermented milk. But what's cool about it is the way they keep it fermented and the way they make it year-round. Oh yeah, it smells cheesy. In here they have the fermented milk, but they don't just ferment it and take it out and put in a new batch and take it all out. What they do is once it's already fermented, they can just keep adding fresh milk. They stir it around and then that also becomes the same type of fermented milk, taking on the same bacteria. It's like making a yogurt, basically. So that is why Andrew is milking a horse right now.
Oh, I can see the milk just gushing out. That's wild. It's time to get my hands dirty. Let me have a go. Oh my God, I can't believe this is working. Oh, it didn't really work. I don't know whether I have to alternate or crank them both at the same time. Kind of gooey. This is not the kind of butter that I'm used to. It's warm. It's not really sticky. It's definitely well lubricated. Oh, even my legs are starting to cramp. This is tough work, man.
So that's why it is so important that we have Andrew milk a horse. Otherwise, how could I get a buzz inside? Luckily, I actually have my own horse milk right here. Normally, they would take the fresh milk, put it in here, and stir it. The only problem is I don't want to dilute my already fermented milk. What I'm gonna do is put this spoon in there and give it a little bit of a taste. It's not super strong, maybe 2-3%. It is gonna take a while to get intoxicated, but only if you're not committed. Oh, I completely forgot I was drinking horse milk for a second. It tastes good. It tastes fermented, but not like sour and unbearable. It's a little bit sweet. Horse milk. Why don't we drink that in Minnesota, guys?
I'm sort of massaging down, letting the nipple fill, and then like pressing, you know? Oh, I'm getting whipped by this tail. Well guys, we have the milk here. I may as well taste it. Oh my God, there's kind of bits in it. Still warm. That's some pretty good horse milk, I gotta say. We got the job done. We've got some milk. Hopefully Sonny's cranking out that alcoholic beverage for us.
There we go. Oh, there's some clumps in there. That was a lot. That must have been such a relief for that horse to get that off its chest, out of its chest. Okay, this is a mixing device made of wood. Usually, the hur would be placed by the door, so anytime people are walking in or out, they can give it a little bit of a stir, and that's gonna help everything to blend together over the next few days. So that is Arok, and you know it's good because they're not just drinking it themselves during the summer, they actually bottle it. I know what you were thinking. Oh my God, I have to get my hands on that brand new Coca-Cola flavor. No, yes, this is Coca-Cola Arok. Give it a little bit of a shake, just like this. Don't let it separate. Pop that cap. Wait, that wasn't sealed. See, that is why you don't shake your Coca-Cola. Horse milk, it's so thick and refreshing. There are live bacteria in this bottle. It is bubbling so much. I did spill a little bit. I'm gonna lick that up. All right, let's cook that horse. When you look at your animals, when you look at a goat or a horse, do you see any difference or are they all just livestock?
At the age of 57, Mr. Sambu is sailing toward retirement.
The livestock they're raising is the support for the family.
Another way to make money.
Make money.
Preparing to leave his legacy to his eldest son, Aluna. His wife and their kids will carry on this family tradition. Mongolian horses are valued for their milk, meat, and their hair. Each horse can produce up to 700 pounds of milk each summer. The milk is transformed into drinks, cheeses, even alcohol. The hair is used to make ropes, fiddle strings, and ornaments. Then there's the meat. And well, folks in Mongolia are known for not wasting any part of the animal.
We are here back at the family home where we're about to embark on the cooking of this tremendous feast. Today we're gonna be cooking 4 different dishes. Since this is such a huge horse, it's a lot of meat and there's basically almost no refrigeration out here. There's a way in which people here preserve the meat. So one of the first dishes we're gonna be focusing on is known as schultz.
Schultz. It isn't really a dish in itself. Rather, it's a way of preserving horse meat so it can be used weeks and months into the future. The meat is cubed and cooked with large quantities of salt, helping to draw out a majority of the liquid inside, making it dry and invulnerable to bacteria. When it's done, they jar it up. When they want to use it, it serves as both protein and seasoning. Here, let me show you. You're about to discover horse noodle soup. But first, we're gonna need some noodles. Here they're made from scratch, using simple wheat flour and salt water. Roll it out into sheets, then let it rest under the sun. Once more solid, slice each sheet down into noodles. The noodles are combined with the salty shots. Add a bit of broth, and there you have it. My first taste of horse in Mongolia.
Hey, say Andrew.
Hello, sir.
I haven't seen you for a minute. How was the horse milking?
It wasn't great.
Yeah?
Mongolian horses are kind of mean, man.
Yeah.
I thought these would be like domesticated animals.
Oh no, they're notoriously aggressive. You didn't know that?
That's because I thought you wanted to do it. How was your yogurt thing?
Ah, it's tough. A lot of mixing.
Really?
A lot of mixing. Yeah, it was tough. Anyways, this is a dish called shots, and this is a preserved meat.
Kind of a good idea. And I mean, it's such a big animal. Makes sense, you're gonna have to preserve it somehow out here.
Exactly. So I figure we should try this first, even though they don't usually eat it like this. You know, it's very salty,
Yeah.
but it's not like puckering my mouth or anything.
Chewy, man.
So that protein bouillon cube was used to make this dish. This is horse noodle soup.
One hell of a name, right?
They took that protein bouillon cube, they made a soup base, and then they made their own noodles and added that in there. Those noodles are great.
Yeah, the noodles is really good. Buttery smooth.
Yeah, noodles are really satisfying. Super fatty, very salty still. I can't stop.
It's really good.
I really enjoy it.
This is great. I would eat this every day of the week.
Dude, how wild is life?
Yeah.
Eating horse noodles with the most beautiful backdrop I've seen in a long time.
I can honestly see why these people would never move to the city. It's like, why would you change this?
You leave the capital and 20 minutes later, it's like this.
Right, and there's not even any paved roads.
Yeah.
Cooking is underway for our final equestrian experience. First, white sausage, a food which mysteriously incorporates blood, yet manages to turn out white in the end. Here's how they do it. After the horse dispatch earlier in the day, the blood was collected in a small tub and stirred continuously. As time passes, the red blood cells separate from the remaining liquid. When you remove this clump of red matter, what remains is plasma. They season the plasma with onions, garlic, and salt, then pour this mixture inside the horse intestine. Tie it off, then cook it. Even better, the fuel source for today's cooking, horse dung. Other horse meat and offcuts are placed in the cooking vessel along with the sausage, then boiled until they're cooked through.
We have the ingredients for 3 different dishes. When everything is done cooking in about an hour, all the meat is gonna come out and that's gonna be eaten alone. But then this broth is still gonna be used and mixed with another ingredient, the curd. This is technically 3 different parts of 3 different recipes, all boiling together in one togo, one big giant steel pot. Smells are interesting, I can tell you that. I mean, yes, there's nice pieces of horse rib, but there's also some pretty gamey intestine in there too. It's gonna be pretty fascinating to see how those flavors bleed into each other. We're gonna close that up, let that boil a little bit more, and then check on it when it's finally done.
In Mongolia, horse meat is eaten most during winter, as it's believed to keep you warm throughout the day. Since horses don't suffer as many diseases compared to other livestock, folks here believe horse meat and milk are the most healthy, clean option, making this a premium product. But it's never good to get high on your own horse supply, so slaughters like today only take place on occasion.
This is the typical way of cooking.
If I'm honest, it's very gamey smelling.
It's kind of overwhelming.
Let's talk about everything that's here. There's the meat. This was also boiling with the meat. That is the intestine with the blood sausage inside. And then this is the stock that the horse was in while it was boiling, then mixed with a little bit of curd. And I think we should try this first.
Dude, I think that's like the definition of gamey.
Wow.
How are you just sucking that down like that?
I think for some cultures, they like the more gamey, intense flavors, and then some cultures use different seasonings and washing techniques to completely make it neutral. And so I wouldn't say this has a clean taste.
Like a sweaty horse smell.
It's like if a horse had a jock strap. I don't hate it.
Oh, I can't.
Let's move on. All right, I'm glad you're being honest. So this is such a unique sausage because they kind of like clarify the blood before putting it in the intestine.
That is not what I thought it would
No
look like.
way.
It is white, right?
That's so cool. They told me the blood would turn white. I did not believe them because it didn't make sense to me. And now it looks like an omelet or like a piece of tofu.
Like a sushi roll.
That is a thick sausage casing.
Oh my God.
Dude, that blood tastes like an omelet.
Yeah, 100%.
It tastes like eggs. I've gone to so many countries now. I just love being blown away by new techniques here. You guys are doing something completely different, taking out that clumpy stuff, throwing that away.
Whatever they took out was all of that irony rich flavor.
All that part that gives you that minerally flavor,
Yeah.
gone. That casing though is so thick.
Dude, I'm still going.
I want to try these ribs. Look at this. This is a fat horse rib, bubbling and boiling. You can rip the meat off the bone. Not exactly cooked slow and low. Very chewy. Here we've got some liver. Andrew, please.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it's at.
That one?
That's smooth, that's creamy, that's way less gamey.
Powerful stuff. Like, I just need a powerful drink to go with it.
Well, hell, if it wasn't for the dairy, you'd be in great shape in Mongolia. You can't eat that much of this food.
It's very filling. It's so rich. You don't need a lot of it. I mean, this could feed 20 people right here.
Easily.
Everything we've seen today, it reminds me of some of the history of Mongolia that we've talked about already. And obviously the most notable figures in Mongolian history would be Genghis Khan.
Yes.
Mongolia used to be the world's largest empire under the rule of Genghis Khan about 800 years ago.
I didn't know how people in Mongolia perceived him. And when I landed here, I saw quickly that he's kind of a hero to the country. I mean, the airport is named after him.
Of course.
He created and implemented a myriad of strategies that propelled the Mongol army forward, expanding his empire. But one of his military's most useful tools, without a doubt, was the Mongolian horse and its skilled riders.
Consider it, he's technically responsible for the deaths of like 40 million people. What makes him such a hero to this nation, to the people here?
He wanted peace.
Genghis Khan 친들은 바로 그때
He's very honored to be born as Mongolian, to live in such beautiful land that Genghis Khan, left for the next generations.
Right, I mean, without him, would there be a Mongolia?
It would be different, of course. He united us.
What about the 40 million people?
Those people were attacking him.
Understood.
He actually offered peace to them. Those guys refused, and then they attacked.
Ah, I see. Being out here today with you guys, seeing the way you live, it seems like it's so similar to how it must have been even 1,000 years ago. What I like about this so far in Mongolia is that so much of the world is in a hurry to catch up to modernization. And certainly there's that element here too, especially in the capital. But I think, 40 years from now, every city is going to look the same, have the same grid pattern, high rises, apartments. It's going to be harder and harder to come to places like this where people are living as they lived generations ago.
Why change when you really don't need to? It's a really nice lifestyle.
Completely agree. How about Genghis Khan?
Today we're heading south to the big city, Mongolia's capital, Ulaanbaatar.
Driving in this city is no joke. Traffic here is heavier than it is anywhere else in the country. Oh boy, I'm so sorry.
Are we going to be able to survive this? You were doing a lot better off-road.
Nearly half of this country's population lives in this one city. And here is where you'll find Mongolia's biggest annual festival, Nadam.
What is this sound that I'm hearing? There's like moaning, yelling.
This isn't like your standard horse race in the West.
Swear to God, I saw a 5-year-old on a horse.
A festival filled with events and traditional Mongolian food.
I've seen no country embrace this tradition more than Mongolia. That being said, I have a tradition of eating yummy food.
Today, Andrew and I are on a mission to meet the food vendors, feeding crowds of thousands.
What can Andrew and I do to help?
Oh God.
And to try out this country's most unique street food for ourselves.
So remember when we were cooking the buttock, we were putting all the stones inside of an animal? Well, now we're doing the steel version of that. The only issue is it could blow up. This seems like a bad idea.
And it all starts here at the horse track.
I gotta admit, I'm not that comfortable around horses, Sonny.
They're so chill.
Whoa. Big animal.
God, don't kick me. Oh, I'm so scared of being kicked by a horse.
Yeah.
That could be life-ending. Andrew, welcome to Nadam Festival.
Bro, what is this? Like some kind of Mongolian rodeo?
That's exactly what it is.
Without horses, there may be no Mongolia today. At least not how we know it. Historically, Mongolian horses were key to overtaking half the world in centuries past. Now, in present day, through horse racing, riders can show off their skills and the skills of their children. Children between the ages of 5 and 13.
It is wild. People of all ages are horse racing. Right here. This kid cannot be older than 5. Oh my God.
He's 11?
That's still pretty young.
This isn't like your standard horse race in the West. There's no circle. They just send the horses a good 25 kilometers that way.
So you don't get to see most of the race. This is the finish line. Soon we're going to see the end. I think that's why everyone's piling up here. Meanwhile, the best part of this event, Andrew?
Yes.
The food. This is Nadam food, and there's people running businesses just completely around feeding the people who come to this event.
Meet Utsi, owner of this here yurt, housing a kitchen that will soon feed thousands. Right now, he's making suvan. It's breakfast, it's filling, and it's the ultimate comfort food, at least for folks here. First, the noodles are made by hand. Knead the dough, roll it flat, then finally cut it into long, thin strips. Seeing as any vegans here would likely be exiled, we move next to the meat. Sliced and diced mutton. Toss in that sheep fat, add onions, some salt, cabbage, and carrots. Water is added, then the noodles descend into the pot. Steam until it's all cooked through.
I've got to be honest, I saw one kid rip his helmet off and whip his horse with it.
Gentlemen, this is so fantastic to be here. And this place is wild. You're probably used to it. How old were you when you first learned how to ride a horse?
Maybe 4 or 5. Riding the horse is like learning how to walk for Mongolians.
Is that safe?
It's not safe actually.
Honest.
Joining our meal once again, Iba.
Right in front of us, an incredible meal. Andrew, this is the first breakfast we've had that isn't just a bunch of dairy options.
Dude, thank God.
We can actually have this dish with milk tea.
Well, on the side?
No. We pour milk tea on top of this dish. In a bowl.
This is so tasty.
It's so tasty. I mean, look, I love milk. I love milk tea. It's nice to just have some fried noodles here. Let's try it out. I've had mutton in a lot of dishes, but not really a noodle dish. It is gamey, but I like it. There needs to be a different word for like good gamey and bad gamey. Because we had that horse. I mean, that was like next level gamey.
Dude, I think that's like the definition of gamey.
Wow.
How are you just sucking that down like that?
This does not compare to that.
No. The horse was borderline unedible. This is really good. I like this sort of chopstick-friendly noodle size.
Noodles are super chewy, simple, straightforward flavors. The vegetables are imperceptible. You see them, but you don't really experience them.
It's just to trick you into thinking that Mongolians eat some vegetables.
Do you eat vegetables?
Of course.
Oh, okay. Which ones?
All.
This is a festival that happens every year.
Every year in July 11th till July 13th.
Being a food vendor here is one way to make some serious cash in a short amount of time. At least, that's the hope.
How long have you been coming to the Nadam Festival to cook?
First time.
What is your first time?
First time.
Today, Utsi will be luring in patrons with a classic, horhog. It's not just a recipe for tender mutton. It's a potential recipe
Have you ever seen it explode?
for disaster. It's also the dish I'll be helping Utsi make.
How much horhog do you expect to sell over the entire festival?
30 хоноор нь хорхог зарч байгаа.
30 horhog, which means 30 sheep.
It's a whole extended family. So what can Andrew and I do to help?
Хон дээр бол
You can either help with the sheep or with the cooking.
Well, Andrew, help with the sheep sounds a little bit ambiguous, but I get to choose. I like to cook, well, I like to watch people cook. I think I'm gonna go with that.
I keep getting the crappy task. Everything I've done with animals is disastrous. Oh my God, I can't believe this is working. Oh, it didn't really work.
What could the disaster possibly be? There's a meal made out of sheep and you're gonna help with the, oh. Yeah, that's what they mean. Well, good luck helping the sheep.
Shit, Jesus Christ. I really thought there'd be more people, to be honest. I didn't realize it was just gonna be me and this dude. Right now we're trying to position the animal. It seems relatively calm.
When dispatching the animal, no blood is spilled. This is a method I've not witnessed anywhere else around the world.
So what he's doing now is he's just picked up some grass right from the ground and he's placing it on the sheep's chest where he's gonna make the incision. He's just said, I'm sorry, I just meant to cut the grass. We're gonna make an incision right in his chest. Oh God. Now, if you can believe it, he's just gonna punch his hand right through the chest and he's gonna break that artery with his fingers. Oh. As brutal as that looks, I've got to admit that was relatively quick, relatively painless. The animal didn't struggle that much, and this is the way they've done it for centuries. I've never seen anything like that before. That was pretty wild.
While Andrew is out in the countryside having fun, we are here in the hot kitchen because we got serious business to do. So remember a few days ago when we were cooking the buttock, we were putting all the stones inside of an animal, and that was our animal skin pressure cooker. All right, look at the steam pouring out now, coming out of both ends. Well, now we're doing the steel version of that. This is a Soviet era milk jug. The only issue is it's not like a real pressure cooker that has like the little release. So if you put in too much heat, too much water, too much food, it could blow up. This seems like a bad idea.
Food preparation is underway. The mutton is cut into pieces, leaving the bones attached.
I am the meat boy. He saw me, he goes, this guy knows how to handle his meat. He's not wrong. So right here we have a tray full of mutton. Back here we have vegetables. And then he has the hot rocks inside the hopper here. They're ready to go. We're gonna put everything in now. You ready? That was my name in high school.
Wow.
Thank you. This part is the easy part. We're supposed to put the big pieces of meat on the bottom, but there's no heat, there's no stones, there's no steam, so it's no big deal.
Now, salt.
I've got salt here. Good.
Right now I'm just continuing to help with the butchery. They're doing everything they can to preserve the skin for other purposes. This is a surreal feeling. Just barely used that knife at all just to make that initial incision. This guy's pretty hectic. Definitely a bit of a badass just skinning with only his hands.
Hot stuff.
Oh, now it's about to get crazy. Gives it a little bit of a blow. The sizzling has begun. So I need to close this every time we're in between stones. It's important to trap the heat from the rocks inside. As soon as they come out of the fire, they want to start cooling down. You can't let them. This is going to be cooking our meat, but it's also going to be flavoring our meat too.
Now meat.
Okay, meat. More meat going in.
Oh, and he's just slowly separating all these organs, the heart, the lungs, all with his hands. I've been told the main reason that I'm here to keep this animal on its back whilst all this is happening. There's this Mongolian belief that you don't want any of the blood of the animal to touch the earth, even after it's been slaughtered. And now finally, he's scooped out some of the remaining blood.
In true nomadic fashion, nothing here is wasted. The head, trotters, blood, every organ will be carefully preserved for other dishes. But the ribs, legs, and other meat is sectioned up and brought for the making of horhog.
It's pretty graphic. I hope Sonny's having as much fun as I am.
Now the vegetables go in. We've got potatoes, carrots, cabbage, onion. Putting in some water right now. This thing is steaming up like mad. How long does it take the mutton to cook?
40 minutes.
That's pretty quick. We're gonna put this cloth here. That will release a little bit of pressure, but it's also gonna help seal it. Now we put this on top of here. Oh, that's not that heavy. I can do that. How do you know when it's finished?
Smell.
Do you need to open it and smell it, or you can just smell it like this?
Like this. And hearing.
Does it speak to you? What do the words nadam actually mean?
Root of the nadam is nad, means like play. So nadam is like games. We translate it into English as festivals.
I heard it was specifically manly games.
Yeah, we have these three manly sports. We call it horse racing, archery, and wrestling.
Are women allowed to participate?
Archery, there's women, but not in the wrestling.
What is it about nadam that makes where people are so compelled to watch these ancient sports?
Actually keeps the tradition going. As far as we found the evidence that 2,000 years ago we were celebrating Nadam Festival.
While the horhog is being cooked, I aim to be far from this explosive meal. Andrew and I are heading east to the center of Ulaanbaatar.
We saw the horse race already, but the real Nadam Festival, it is in and around the stadium of this city. Soon, they're gonna have the opening ceremony. If I don't crash this vehicle, we're gonna make it there and we're gonna see some of this epic wrestling.
These are some big dudes, Sonny. It's definitely the kind of body you can only achieve with copious amounts of dairy.
So much milk.
Milk on cheese.
Half the city, plus people from surrounding regions, have descended here for the opening ceremony. It starts with an anthem, song, dance, and a parade. Wherever you find massive crowds like this, you'll find food. Kebabs, ice cream, fried rice, and even this. There's horse meat, fermented horse milk, and horhog trolleying around in search of hungry patrons. Just outside the stadium, the archery event has begun and the women are up first. Inside, a sport that still remains the domain of men only. Mongolian wrestling. No weight classes, no time limits. Just get your opponent on the ground in any way possible and soar like an eagle. After working up a nice sweat on the field, you'll want to try this. The king of all Naadam foods, and the only dish you could consider a true street food.
Ma'am, hello.
Hello.
We are outside. It is scorching hot here in July, and right here we have a treat. And how long have you been making it?
Fast with I don't know.
She's been making it for 16 years.
My gosh, that's a long time.
This beloved Mongolian street snack only makes an appearance once per year. It starts with a wheat flour dough as a wrapper. Then there's the filling. Minced mutton, salt, black pepper, and onion. Seal it shut and deep fry until it's crispy and golden brown.
Let's try this out. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Super like fried dough on the outside. It almost like a fried gyoza, but thicker.
This is lamb. Can you make this out of other meats?
Of course, we make it kosher out of every animal.
You can get horseshaw.
Yeah.
When you bite into this, you feel the meat kind of explode out. It is very flavorful, but the seasonings are simple, just salt and pepper. It's very delicious. I'm very impressed. I like, she has a quiet confidence. Yeah, I know. That's why I've been in business for 16 years. I know what I'm doing. How long have you lived in Ulaanbaatar?
About 20 years.
What do you think separates this place from the rest of Mongolia?
UB is like a hub of everything. So as a business-wise, it's a really good city.
Ulaanbaatar, or UB for short, is one of the fastest modernizing cities on the planet. In stark contrast to the countryside, here you'll find modern shopping malls, art galleries, international restaurants. Heck, they even have a Pizza Hut and a KFC. Mongolia and this city are not really destinations for street food. I'd blame it on the long, harsh winters. The closest you'll get to street food is what we're eating now, something only available from vendors like this a few days out of the year.
These are great. How many of these is she going to sell over this festival?
They sell about 20,000 to 30,000 pieces a day.
Yikes. Wow.
Usually the first day is the busiest of all.
Perhaps the scarcity of this food is what makes it so popular when it finally appears each summer, just like the horhog. Back at the horse track, Utsi and his Soviet milk cans are still in one piece. No explosions for today.
It is evening time. Naadam is done for today. Horses have gone home, kids have gone home, parents have gone home. But we do have one thing left for today, and that is the treasured horhog. I'm sure you sold a load of this today. This food, have you ever seen it explode?
Not yet.
That sounds optimistic to me. He didn't say no, he said, not yet. But one day.
It is because
Stone is good for health.
Oh, you really get it all over. I mean, this is caked with mutton grease. You can see that the meat has been essentially pressure cooked, and it doesn't take a super long time. This has been about an hour for this meat in particular.
Pretty impressive, I've got to admit.
These are mashed potatoes. Let's try it out. That is a perfectly mashed potato, perfectly soft. This looks like a leg or, well, yeah, a leg. I was gonna say, or an arm.
To me, it's way less mutton though.
It's nice. It's actually, the meat has kind of broken down a bit in a short time. It tastes like a mutton roast.
For sure. The pressure cookers help. It's like far more tender, to be honest, even than this morning.
Is there a part that you like the most?
Yes.
the ribs. He likes the part where it grilled with the stone. You know?
This is so tasty.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I never even thought about that. There are certain distinct portions that look like they've been seared, and that's exactly where the stone was hitting it. Oh, that's cool. Man, you guys love meat. It is wild.
It's basically the carnivore diet.
The only thing stopping us to eat more is summer.
Right, so that's when you usually take more of a break. It seems that everywhere in the countryside, folks are eating stuff like this. But this is like a really big city, a city of over 1 million people. As I've walked around, I see there are a lot more dining options, and options that are more, I would say, just complex or varied than what you find in the countryside. You go to the city, suddenly you see Pizza Hut, KFC, but beyond that, you're seeing Chinese food, you're seeing food from different nations around the world. And so, what do you crave more? I mean, do you crave just the straightforward simplicity of a lot of the Mongolian dishes, or have Mongolian people gotten more into international cuisines?
За, юу байгаа хаа? Нөгөө тэр бусад орны хоолыг бол манайхан.
He said, we're just curious to taste different food, but we like this.
So it's okay to go out, try something new, experience it, but people always come back home no matter what. At the end of the day, there's always that food that's familiar, that they grew up with, that's still in their heart from their childhoods.
Exactly.
From here, we're leaving the bustling city and heading south,
My God, this country has some range.
all the way to the Gobi Desert.
Jesus Christ, man, I thought deserts were flat.
Here, you'll still witness Mongolian nomad life, but with a whole new landscape.
Much more flat, and people are so calm, more chill.
There's like a deeper level of chill that I was unaware of.
New geography means new animals.
Dude, this is wild.
This place is home to the world-famous double-humped Mongolian camel.
They look so freaking alien.
Oh, dude, they smell awful. That's like their defense system. Jeez.
Andrew and I are on a mission to experience the life and diet of Mongolia's camel herders.
I'm on one side, the baby's on the other side. We are sharing this udder together.
It all starts with breakfast.
Good morning, everybody.
Today, our Mongolian friend Iba is connecting us with the Honda family.
I've noticed that every time we've gone to a local home here, there's a drink that you always begin the meal with.
Yes.
Tea leaves, camel milk, and water. Mix it, boil it, and call it Mongolia's national drink.
I'm ready for those 3,000 calories.
Here, it can be made from any animal who you can convince to extract milk from. Today, it just happens to be from this handsome lady.
Wow, that is hot camel milk.
It's really rich, but other than that, it tastes far more like camel.
I'm tasting the tea much more this time. Usually it just tastes like hot milk to me. This time I do taste the leaves in there. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit more sophisticated Mongolian palate the more we travel through the country. Of course, now we're in a completely different region. To you, what is so special about the Gobi region, the Gobi Desert?
The wide steppe is always windy and much more flat.
Living here means surviving rapid temperature changes, shifting up to 60 degrees in a day, or getting down to -40 in the winter.
Gobi people have to move around because of the camels they're herding. Average moving per year is like 10.
Today, Andrew and I will experience a fresh meal from one of these giant camels.
She cooks with the dung, but do you taste the dung?
But first, some not as fresh dried camel meat.
This particular meat is prepared in the autumn time. They slaughter the camel. They slice this meat in long shapes and then hang it on this
Inside the yurt?
inside the earth, yeah.
Oh,
And then it is air dried throughout the winter.
After mashing the dried camel meat, Miss Honda lets it boil in a pot while she starts making noodles from scratch. Flour, barley flour, and water, kneaded into a dough, rolled and cut into thin strips. The fresh noodles dive into a bubbling pot of camel meat, followed by wild chives, salt, and curd.
Oh, wow. The meat, it tastes like rehydrated meat, where it's a little tough. You can see like the water has kind of resaturated it a little bit. Is there milk in here too?
Curd.
Oh my gosh. If you're lactose intolerant, don't come to Mongolia.
Well, that is just very, very different. I was expecting the same sort of flavors from that horse dish.
How you doing?
I think that's like the definition of gamey. Whereas this is like, again, almost like the milk, a little bit, or far more neutral than the horse by comparison. I don't know, it sounds stupid, but it's such a crazy looking creature. I was expecting such a outlandish taste.
Oh wait, have you ever had camel anything?
No. Oh yeah, Sonny, I went down the convenience store last week and picked up some camel jerky.
Dude, I've had camel like 3 times in my life.
Oh, you have you?
Yeah, even in Egypt. I had a great time there. I did. I love to get to see you trying camel for the first time. And now you thought like horses are intrepid, majestic creatures and you thought it would taste more majestic. This is Andrew's face after he took a bite of the horse.
It tastes like a barn.
And then now Andrew's here eating the camel. Big fan.
If I had to be a nomad, I'd be a Gobi nomad.
So herding camels, how is it different from cows, from horses, or other types of cattle?
The Mongolian camel, officially named the Bactrian camel, makes up to 6% of the worldwide camel population.
It takes a lot of effort to herd them. They don't usually go with the group, and then they travel long distance, not like 5-10 kilometers, more like 100 kilometers.
These are the largest living camels on Earth, growing up to over 8 feet in height. In the severe Gobi winter, these double-hump behemoths grow a thick, shaggy coat. As the temperatures rise in summer, these coats fall away until they look like what they look like now, big, naked beasts.
How many camels does he have?
About 300 camels. It is considered as the huge camel herd.
How does he make sure they stick around? Because I didn't see a big corral here.
They actually know their behavior, who wants who and who likes to go where, and then they look for them if they lost.
Wait, and how many people are tending to those 300 camels?
He has wife and son.
And you have to keep track of 300 different camel personality types.
Yes.
With today's modern vehicles, camels are used less and less for transportation, but camel hair can be spun into wool and into ropes.
Everything you see around the gear, it is all made out of camel wool.
Camel milk contributes to Mongolia's dairy-rich diet.
And alcohol?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Of course.
Then there's the camel meat. The camel's unique physical traits are especially valuable to the locals. The hump, or in this case, 2 humps, are full of fat. To the camel, this is a power bank when short on sustenance. To the nomad, it's an energy-rich cooking oil. The humps are portioned into small chunks and boiled.
Every dish they make with the meat from the gobi tastes much better because the animals here eat more quality herbs and grass.
After an hour, they remove the hump fat and let the pot cool. Remove this floating fat and keep it in a jar for future use. This is just a warm-up for our camel feast.
Needless to say, we're super interested and we want to help out in any way we can.
We need help on cooking and milking.
All right, so last time I got to choose. This time Andrew gets to choose.
Thank God.
If it was up to me, I would definitely do the milking.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't want to milk again. That was horrible. Oh, those ponies were mean. I bet camels are terrible. I bet they're super smelly and much bigger. You can definitely do that task.
Do you think I could milk a camel? Are my hands too soft?
Selling camel dairy products like cheese and arak provide the main source of income for many herding families in the Gobi.
Okay, today Andrew got to choose the activities. I'm gonna milk a camel. He's doing something in the yurt.
So we're here to cut up this giant camel heart. Look at that giant artery that's just coming out there. This is the engine that fuels that giant 1,200-pound animal. This is really huge. He's seen a million camel hearts. This is my first one.
Here, the camels are very, very tall. You can't just put the bucket on the ground, otherwise you'll have about 5 feet between the nipple and the bucket. So they have this tool here. It's like a bucket holder. Look at this. I got a milk belt.
Oh, so big.
I'm deeply offended. That is very fat phobic. They need to make bucket holders in all sizes.
Let's milk.
Let's get into it. Let's see what happens. So right now we're just going straight down the middle. You know, it doesn't have a distinct smell or anything. It's not like mutton, it's not like lamb. Look at that texture, man. The big cavities of the heart that's gonna pump the blood through. What we wanna do here is we're cutting these long strips of meat. We're gonna grill it on skewers. It's barbecue, I can handle that. That's much better than milking a camel.
So far, they brought a bunch of baby camels over here, and then the moms come for the milking. She's gonna tie the legs together. The baby's gonna start sucking off the teat, and then we're gonna swoop in there and we're gonna swipe some milk.
After a Mongolian camel gives birth, her milk flows for 9 to 18 months. During this time, the herders visit her twice a day to squeeze out up to 11 pounds of milk.
Can I try? Lubricate your fingers with a little bit of the milk. Oh, this is tough. Oh no. Oh no. Why? Oh no, I suck at this.
You know, one super interesting thing as we started butchering this animal, obviously we're out here in the middle of the Gobi Desert. There's not that much refrigeration. What they do is they simply place a lot of the meat underneath their trailer in a cage and fire up some camel dung to keep the flies away. It's cool enough to keep it for days, I imagine. This being an organ, it probably doesn't keep as long, so that's why we're gonna eat it fresh on kebabs. I'm not being very useful here.
I think no more milk. Should we go to new camel?
Okay.
Can I have a knife? Can I help with this? Yeah, so just along here. Good? I'm an idiot, right? He's got no idea what I'm saying. I mean, maybe.
After it's sliced, the camel heart is skewered with onions and tossed on the grill. As always, seasoning is straightforward. Just a little bit of salt. Occasionally spray the meat with water to keep it moist. Instead of using coal, here the camel kebabs roast over camel dung.
Okay, here we go. Oh, this one is ready. Oh, yes. So it works so much better this way. Look at this. Can you hear this milk pouring out of here? This is like the most effective milking I've ever done in my life. I'm on one side, the baby's on the other side. We are sharing this udder together. Very creamy. It's different than any other kind of camel milk I've had before. That is fascinating. It's a lot of work though for a glass of milk. I think I'll just go to the store.
Aside from the calcium, camel milk can also be used to get you drunk. Just ferment it and distill it to create a cheesy tasting milk vodka. You'll also be judged much less if you don't drink alone.
Wow, Andrew, you really missed out with the milking.
There's no way that was good.
It was very fun.
You hated it.
I like camels.
No.
They smell good.
Were they vicious?
I'm thinking about developing a camel cologne.
No.
I'm gonna call it phlegm. You've never had camel anything.
No.
Now you're gonna have camel milk vodka. I got a bowl right here for you.
Alrighty.
All right. That has a smell to it.
It does. It's sort of, lo and behold, smells a little bit cheesy.
Cheers.
Good.
Not that strong. I feel like I got the non-alcoholic kind.
I kind of like it, dude. It has the weirdest aroma before you drink. You're getting those cheesy notes.
The cheesy notes. What are you, a sommelier of freaking camel?
It's made out of
breast milk?
cheese. Cheese vodka, bro.
To me, it tastes very weak. This one is almost like a cheesy water.
And I bet this is dangerous as hell because you really can't taste the alcohol.
Yeah, maybe I'm secretly getting drunk. It doesn't taste that strong though. So that is the fruit of my labor. Meanwhile, I know you helped with the heart, and man, Andrew, can I say this looks great. You sure know how to barbecue. Black, huh? Oh, it slides right off.
And you've got a double side, heart on one side, and then the heart fat on the other with a layer of onion sandwiched in the middle.
This looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
Oh, that's surprisingly crispy.
It is very dense meat. It is quite charred. I guess it's charred with those camel pellets.
There's none of that kind of like camel shit aroma.
It's not gamey at all.
Not at all.
It's a very clean taste.
Yeah, for sure. Great meat. It's not chewy at all. I mean, I'm expecting it to taste like flesh, right? But it's an organ.
It tastes like a red meat. The heart is just, I don't know. I love the heart of any animal pretty much.
It's barbecue, dude. I can do barbecue.
Throw another camel on the Barbie. Is that what you guys say?
In Australia.
Might be racist, I'm sorry.
As snack time ends, a serious feast is underway. Camel meat, camel fat, and onions are finely chopped, then mixed and seasoned with salt. Top each homemade dough wrapper with a scoop of camel mix and fold it into that familiar dumpling shape. 1 hour in the steam room brings about translucent skin and succulent meat. Time to dine.
Eva, I understand that you've never had camel.
I might have eaten before while traveling through the Gobi. I just didn't notice it.
Very possible. Oh, these are beautiful. Interesting. I was expecting mutton. I think we've had that already. It's a very chewy outside doughy wrapper. And then on the inside, tons of juice, like a little camel broth, and not a ton of seasonings, just kind of salty, meaty. And then the meat itself, which is a little on the lean side, I would say.
It's not a rich, strong flavor. I know it's crazy, but I just kind of thought crazy looking animal, rich, strong flavor. But it's way more plain than both horse and sheep.
Clean, like neutral, red meat.
Yeah.
Really?
Is it gamey to you?
It tastes gamey to me.
But you ate that a horse.
I think it's because I used to eating horse.
How often are you eating camel?
Жист бас нэг бүтэн тийм ээ.
They eat one camel a year and they slaughter one camel in the autumn time.
That one camel lasts a whole year.
Whole year.
And most of it is dried out then.
Yeah.
With only one camel butchered a year, a fresh camel meal like this is truly a rare treat.
So we have dumplings and then we have this here. What do you call this?
Jimbi.
Jimbi.
Jembi. This Mongolian exclusive starts with camel ribs, stir-fried with camel oil and camel salt. I mean regular salt. Close the lid and let it cook. In the meantime, prepare a flour and wild chive dough.
I'm curious, do they eat other meats at all, or is it always just camel meat?
Goat and sheep. Голцоо өвөл хүнсэн.
They don't usually eat goat and sheep, but like when they need it, they can take.
Where do they get it? You can't exactly swing by the local 7-Eleven, man. And we're in the middle of the Gobi.
Does Andrew think sheep are at 7-Eleven?
Like a Mongolian 7-Eleven, I don't know.
True. Good point.
They have a herd of sheep and goat,
Oh,
like in the other camp.
As the aroma of slow-cooking camel meat fills the yurt, open the lid and toss in potatoes, onions, more salt, and water. When the ingredients become tender, they're blanketed with a thin layer of dough that'll steam until it's cooked through.
Do you have to unveil it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God.
How do you eat it?
Yeah,
Because there's
let's do
dough, but then there's big piles of meat. How do they work
Usually
together?
just grab a piece.
Thank you.
So this is the rib right here. It comes off fairly easily. It's dripping, feels juicy. I'm just gonna put the bread and the meat together.
More like a dumpling now.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Okay, I'm gonna eat the bread 1 second before.
Yeah.
Not like a dumpling anymore. Wow. Super juicy, almost just greasy, like heavy oil coming off this thing. It cooks so long, the fat's just kind of rendered and softened and got all oily. Like that, when they took all the meat out, there's just like a lake of oil at the bottom.
That's probably why it's so juicy, man. You know, it's cooked for forever, but it's nowhere near dry. You taste any of that camel dung smoked flavor?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't say I'm picking up any. Would you say notes of dung?
Yeah, no notes of dung.
This wrapper is terrific. It feels just like a dumpling wrapper. It's thick, it's kind of dense. I love how the chives have been embedded into it. And then just pairing that with a soft, juicy rib meat, it's just super clean. It's less gamey than beef even.
Yeah, it's really neutral flavor.
I mean, I've had other camel parts, but I don't think I've had ribs before. Oh man, love it.
Wow.
For you now, as you're moving constantly, almost once a month, what is the biggest downside to that?
Сургууль цуглахаараа хамаатны даа ирэх нь
When the school season starts, they send their kid to school. In the village or in the town, they have their relatives. So the kid stays there and she visits his kid once in a while.
And for people in the Gobi, what is the goal? Because for a lot of people in many different countries, it might be, get to the big city one day. But I've been to the big city, it's fine, but that ain't it. I don't think that's the goal, but I could be wrong. What do I know? So for you, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you have a child, where do you want to be?
манай мөрөө тэр ярьдаг л да.
They want to settle down someplace and to dig a well. Once they have water, they want to plant their own vegetables and also trees in the Gobi.
So if you have this permanent home, would you always be able to be with your child?
Мэдээж хэлгүй яах вэ?
Yeah, of course.
I hope you find your way there eventually, and definitely sooner than later. And I want to say thank you so much for inviting us into your home and letting us intimately experience what it is like to live here in the Gobi Desert. Thank you so much.
Now, for our final mission, we're heading even deeper into the Gobi Desert in search of this. Here you'll find a 62-year-old woman cooking up sheep into some of Asia's strangest culinary creations.
That's a bird.
Something called white bird.
It's been sewn shut with a thread made from camel hair. What century am I in? This is amazing.
And a sheep's head cooked in its own stomach.
How epic is this?
I've never seen anything like this at all. It's made its own stock.
Andrew and I are going all in
How did I get stuck with another one of these tasks?
with our last attempt to adopt the nomad lifestyle. But first,
How do they do this?
we're gonna need a sheep.
What, do they drug them? Here's what's up. The animals don't love when you get that close to them. There is a lot of goats before you even get to the sheep. Here's the other problem. Once they start moving, they all have this hive mind thing where they're like, well, we should all start moving. I'm gonna go slow at first, and then I'm gonna freaking run.
There's no way Sonny's good at this. Sonny's a big dude. I feel like to get in amongst the sheep, you kind of want to...
This is not good, this is not good, not good.
Oh, there's no way. What are you doing, you moron? Oh, this is the worst idea ever. Oh, man. We're gonna be here all day.
This humble nomad settlement boasts several hundred heads of sheep and goats herded and taken care of by this woman, Miss Nurgui. She lives here alone, but today, 2 of her childhood friends are stopping by to help with today's meal. Andrew and I are gonna help too.
That didn't work at all.
All right, look at this. He's already gassed out. What are you doing?
Those sheep suck.
That was like a 200-meter sprint. Come on, Sunnyside.
I got an idea. There's a pen here. I bet I could scare them into the pen and grab one.
I've been instructed by Miss Nurgui to only retrieve a pure white sheep.
Doors closed.
As I sort of predicted, it's a pretty dumb idea to try and just chase down some sheep.
You got nowhere to run now.
The strategy here seems pretty obvious to me. Like, get him in a corner, chill up. Oh, great. He's going for the speed move again. This isn't going to work out.
How do they do this?
I don't know what he's thinking. He's sort of swiping at him just randomly. Oh my God, they're escaping.
Oh no, they're getting out the door.
Oh no.
Andrew, stop him, stop
Oh
him.
no. Sonny has clearly botched this. Oh my Lord, I've got to even help him with this. Oh my Lord.
Yes!
It looks like Sonny's finally caught a sheep.
I didn't really exactly get to choose. Whichever one just kind of ran into my arms is the one I got. Thank you.
To be honest, not all that impressive. We've been out here for a while, but we got the sheep.
Considering I've collected the wrong sheep, Iba steps in to help. Hopefully, seeing a local struggle will make you realize just how difficult a task this is.
Oh, he's got
Cooking efficiency here means boiling every dish together in one pot. That includes chunks of liver, heart, and lung. For lunch, highly prized organ meats transformed into something new. First, a quick bite for insatiable appetites. The liver, to preserve its texture, it's part cooked, medium raw.
Oh, dude.
That liver.
It's really good.
Maybe that's the way to eat liver.
Not that rich.
Maybe, I put maybe. I think most people overcook liver, so it gets chalky and it's like an egg yolk and it dries your mouth out. But this is really soft.
I just kind of love that it's like the side snack whilst you're doing the organ.
This is the reward. I mean, nobody really wants to have to squeeze all the poop out of the organs, but if you have to, you might as well be rewarded with a little bit of half raw liver.
With our amuse-bouche complete, the real cooking can begin. The star of the dinner table, blood sausage. Mix fresh sheep's blood with flour, a bit of salt, and wild chives, a staple herb found every few steps in the Gobi Desert. This curious blend will soon harden inside the sheep's intestine, which will serve as our sausage casing. Tie it shut, then let it join the master pot, sharing the simmering sheep pot and eclectic meaty mix. When cooking is complete, the organs are removed, and this bold stock joins white rice to make a countryside Mongolian porridge.
When is the last time you had a meal like this?
Quite often, once in a week.
Oh, wow.
I love hearing that because we've met so many people so far who are like, we'll slaughter one camel a year and then dry the meat. But here, she's eating the good stuff every week, all the time.
This is the blood sausage.
This also has blood in it.
Yes.
Different size. Medium, large.
Different vessels. Interesting. She like slices the casing open. It is cool to the touch. I gotta say, I'm impressed. The blood has become kind of a paste inside. Like it's infused with some of the fat.
It doesn't look appetizing at all, but if that's what the rest of this is like, I think we're looking good.
We're looking good. Should we try some of this? This is the porridge. We have the stock from the sheep and then a bunch of kind of overcooked rice. Should be real soft. Manageable.
Pretty neutral.
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, I love
It is so rich and fatty though, huh? So now we have a bigger stomach inside, the same blood. Oh, look at this. There's a fat in there too.
Other than the texture being different, quite similar to the white blood sausage from the horse.
Oh, I completely disagree. To me, that was more eggy and more like tofu.
That's a good point, actually.
Very nice. Did you see, I'm curious if you saw me earlier, I actually caught a sheep.
Let's go with it.
I thought I was fast. I also thought they were slow, and I was wrong on both counts. But what's the right method for catching sheep?
First, put them in the fence.
Smart.
Then what?
Then just grab.
Oh, then just grab.
Yeah.
I didn't think to do that.
Did you see me grabbing?
That.
So she has moved here for 5 years now. Before that, she was living 50 kilometers away from here.
Oh, wow.
Daily life here means a mix of new challenges and mundane routines. Each day, she moves the herd to better grazing lands. In the evening, she retrieves them and guides them home.
She has 4 kids, all married and went out with their new families, and she's now alone.
If you're alone here, how are you able to tend for all of these sheep?
She's been doing it her entire life. It's just like how you guys work your regular job.
In the past, what would they have been using? Without a motorcycle, what would she be on top of?
Horse and camel.
Really?
Cool.
Her income depends on selling livestock, but also milk, fur, wool, leather, meat, and handicrafts, all supplied to the nearest large town, which isn't that large. She's also won competitions for her ability to braid camel hair, twisting it into rope in seconds flat.
Oh, there is one more thing we have to try after.
This is the butthole.
Do you see the butthole? I think he said the butthole.
This part is butthole, but this part is...
Right, like the rectum.
But I don't know, what do you call this?
Yeah, I call it a rectum.
Stuffed with meat.
That's fantastic. I mean, there's never been meat in this rectum before. Can you slice a piece for Andrew that's really close to like the whole part?
They don't actually eat that part.
Oh, all right. So you know what this is? That's the penis. Do they even eat this?
Yeah, you can eat it.
Oh. Right here we have part of the large intestine that's been stuffed with
Different meat.
And then here we have a piece of the penis. Let's try this sausage first, Andrew.
Wow, smell.
Super chewy.
Much more meaty. I would eat the blood sausage over that any day.
That's just to lead us up to this right here, the penis. It's like cartilage.
Totally flavorless. It's just about that texture.
I kind of like the texture, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. We came here today because we want to see more of your lifestyle, but beyond that, we want to see one of the most unique foods that exists here in Mongolia.
The main dish is white bird, but it's not actually a bird, it's a sheep tail. The second one is a sheep head cooked in the sheep's stomach.
Fantastic. Andrew, we've had a lot of animosity during this trip. I have to do this task, you have to do that task, sending the other person to do something they don't want to do. But how about today? We split it up. We're both going to cook. We're going to make some cool-ass nomad food.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Mongolia is a land of very creative, efficient cooking. They don't always need pots and pans. You saw in our first episode, they cooked the goat inside the goat. They use the goat as its own cooking vessel. Well, we're kind of doing something like that today with the tail from the sheep.
Oh my God, it smells really, really bad.
What they're gonna do here later on is mince a bunch of meat and use the tail as the cooking vessel. Like, how could the food here get any more heavy?
We're gonna be eating this sheep's head, and they eat it in a very fascinating way. They're gonna get this sheep's head, they're gonna place it inside the sheep's stomach, and that's how we're gonna cook it. It looks like some kind of horror movie.
They're gonna char the outside, but there's no point in charring all this extra hair.
So now look, shaving the sheep's head. We're just scraping off all of that outer hair.
I'm excited because it's amazing you can go around the world and 100 different cultures will have 100 different ways to cook a sheep. This is something like I've never seen before. I can't wait to see how this finally turns out in the end.
After the fur's been removed, she delicately fillets the tail, fashioning into a vessel awaiting its fillings, minced mutton, and a touch of tail fat. Blend with salt water, then place it inside the tail before sewing it shut completely. This bizarre-looking edible coin purse is a perfect symbol for Mongolian cooking. Pragmatic, yet delicious. At least, that's what they say. Before it can hit the table, it must be torched, singeing its hairs off clean.
This is a pouch, a bag. It's like when you do sous vide. We're doing a sous vide inside of a butt. A tail.
All right, guys, what we have here is a freshly shaved sheep's head and a stomach. I've been told that we first have to cut this sheep's head in half, and then we see what happens.
It's been sewn shut with a thread made from camel hair. What century am I in? This is amazing. Here's what I don't understand. This whole thing is the tail, and this tail actually even has a tail.
Is that right? It's kind of like I'm making a sheep version of the Joker. And now we're gonna rip it? Just break it in half. Oh my God. Dude, how did I get stuck with another one of these tasks? What is Sonny doing?
Boing. So funny to me. I don't want to laugh so hard.
Oh my Lord. I never thought it would be so hard. I sort of want to break it over my knee. Oh, there we go. No, it's funny, the stomach's been inverted. The inside of the stomach, now the outside, not sure why. Mixing in salt with the water, stretch out this sheep's stomach. So this is camel hair string, round multiple times. Oh, dude. All right. I think we're done. So now that we've successfully placed the sheep's head inside its own stomach, the next step is
to boil. It's gonna boil for a long time. When it's finished, we're gonna cut it open and see the final result. All right, Andrew, what do you got cooking here?
oh, you know, a nice boiled sheep head inside its own stomach.
I mean, you can't just boil a sheep head.
Why not?
Because you have to put it in the stomach first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, good point. Oh, what's in that?
An absolute delicacy. They stuff the meat in the fat, they sew it up, and it looks vaguely like a bird.
Actually sounds pretty good.
These require a long time to cook. I think it's gonna be a couple more hours, but man, it's gonna be worth it.
It's gonna be worth it?
I mean, I assume it just seems like a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You know, before we start this is called Patron.
Oh, wow.
Do you drink? Because I don't want people are gonna watch this and think, oh, you turned her into an alcoholic. Do you drink here and there? Can we say cheers in the traditional way? Baliles.
Oh, she moved that down, dude.
Do you want more? All right, hold on. I'm ready. Let's start with this right here. This is the one that I helped with. How long ago do you think this was invented?
She's guessing might be after 1990s.
Oh, dude, that is a lot of fat.
When she was a kid, it wasn't a common dish. And then later on, it became more popular and popular. And it adapted the name Gobian Whitebird.
Oh, thank you. Let's try it out.
Oh my God.
Pure fat, dude.
That is so smooth and not tough at all.
That is oily. That is gonna shoot straight through me.
Right.
You know, in the US, we'd be like, oh, don't eat too much fat. You're gonna get fat. It's so many calories. Does that thinking exist for any types of foods here?
No,
Not
it
like,
doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh.
Mix it with the meat.
Oh my God, that is great.
I'm digging it.
Is that muttony to you at all?
It's so meaty. There's just robust, big, bold, heavy food. It's really remarkable. I'm curious if she feels like over the years with newer generations, are some of the traditions fading?
From her experience and point of view, at some point it seemed like Mongolia is losing its tradition. But lately, Mongolian tradition is coming back. For example, the traditional costume she's wearing, it's been almost forgotten after like the 1990s. Now it's been coming back. A youth generation is wearing it proudly.
sort of exactly what struck me when we've seen this country, especially at the fairs. It's the young people and the old, and it's the men and the women, and it's one of the first things you notice.
And the men look freaking epic, like warriors. Andrew, this is a beautiful food that you assisted with. I'm assuming you just sat next to people and explained what they were doing.
I ripped that head in half with my bare hand.
Really?
Really?
Were you there?
No, she wasn't there.
Oh, okay, so it's just folklore.
This is ridiculous. She's laughing at me.
She doesn't believe you. Here's what I'm really curious about. Why put the head in the stomach before cooking it?
Keeping the juice inside the head.
Oh, I see. So she's got a bowl here to pour out all that head juice.
Oh my God. It's made its own stock. It's a sheep head stock.
Take it.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very intense flavor, a bit animally, but it is like collagen, consistency of a bone broth.
Oh, that is strong, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a really, really concentrated gravy.
Revealing both parts of the head. All of this should be edible. It's just gonna be a matter of what is she gonna hand to us, because that is a game of Mongolian roulette. Interesting, so she slices the tip of the nose.
It's a traditional way of cutting the head.
It's so specific and so detailed.
It is. We have a lot of traditions that we just can't explain.
Right, exactly. It just goes so far back, further back than anyone can remember. Oh, she's peeling back the cheek meat and it comes off pretty easily. It's some of the best meat. It's very underrated. Boom, separates the ear from the cheek. Now she's ripping the bottom jaw apart.
It really kind of is like you're skinning the animal.
Right here, that is how you fillet the lower jawbone of a sheep. Nothing left. And now she's slicing the tongue.
She's saying this is the best meat.
Tongue is very nice. Let's go for it.
Dude, what the hell?
Very good.
That's great.
Usually it's stewed so long that it becomes soft like a pate, but this is a little more like gummy. This is a cheek meat, one of the most renowned meats of any head. Does that white line? Mm-hmm.
Chewy.
Chewy in a good way, like dense, almost like how a heart is dense. I don't even know what that is.
Here.
Oh, that's crunchy.
That's good. Oh, this is like the inside.
That's unbelievably good. I also just can't believe how non-muttony this head is.
Dude, I love this. We tried a lot of the meat around the face, the tongue, the cheeks, but here, whoa, can knifing out one of the eyeballs, dude. She takes the whole ball and cuts around it. You're not actually eating the ball of the eye. You're just eating the surrounding tissue. It shouldn't be that bad.
Oh, it's kind of chewy.
It's chewy like raw squid.
It even tastes like squid.
You just keep chewing and chewing and nothing's happening. Eventually you just gotta swallow it out of boredom. Oh, wow, that was all one piece.
Oh, wow.
She got it. That is the juicy, jiggly brain. Still warm, in fact. All right. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, good. Yes, I wanted more. Thank you.
Oh, it's like the
Rich.
marrow.
Bone marrow? Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's very livery, crazy rich, and just kind of sticky, like it coats the inside of your mouth while you're eating it. You've lived a very full life. You lived in many places throughout Mongolia. You have 4 children who are all grown now with families of their own. And I'm wondering, when you look back on your life, is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
Mongolian herders doesn't have time to think about that. The only thing that could have changed if she had a power is the weather.
Right.
That's it.
Of course.
Mongolia usually have really harsh winter. A lot of herders lost their animals in the harsh winter. As a herder, whenever the herd doesn't have enough food, she feels down. But throughout her life, she never lost a single animal in the harsh winter because she moved around a lot to find the best place to keep the animals safe. She's been moving all her entire life and she's proud of it, and that's the secret of living as a nomad.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
자, 맛있고 있다.
Paisa.
맛있다.
Guys, that is the end of our Mongolia series. 5 videos, 5 incredible experiences here in this country from north to south. I want to say a huge thank you to both of you. Guys, well done. You can follow these two on their YouTube channel, Artger. Artger is a channel documenting cuisine and culture all over Mongolia. Also, if you want to come to the country of Mongolia, and I highly recommend you do, you should hit up these guys on their website, which is in the description box down below. Go there, click the link, and find out all there is to know about visiting Mongolia. Also, a huge thank you to my good friend Andrew for joining me on these crazy adventures and being so open-minded to experiences and just being thrown into awkward situations. All right, guys, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace.